Speaker Day, Board of Directors, elected committees, specially invited guests, staff, and members. The global economy was forecast to slow down in 2023 as a result of economic challenges faced on the world market, such as elevated debt costs, higher energy prices, high inflation, policy tightening by central banks, and deepening geopolitical fragmentation and conflict. According to the Ministry of Finance's estimates, the Trinidad and Tobago economy was expected to experience real GDP growth of 2.7% in 2023. According to an IMF report dated 11th of March 2024, real GDP growth was 2.1%, which was the result of an expansion in the non-energy sector and marginal declines in the energy sector. The challenging economic climate is a source of concern as it continues to have an effect on the growth in income of the credit union. Interest income on loans had fallen from 19.3 million in 2020 to 16.4 million in 2022, but has had a marginal growth of 1.97% in 2023. U.W.I Credit Union continues to focus on growing loan interest revenue, which is the credit union's major source of income. One of the key strategies used by the credit union to increase loans was fostering growth in the membership, which was carried out by expanding the bond in 2022. In 2023, the credit union had a membership drive which encouraged new members to take a loan using the penetration pricing strategy of lower interest rates. This loan was offered to the general membership and was responsible for the growth in the loan portfolio by 20 million or 15.27%. The credit union achieved a surplus of 10.3 million for the year ended 31st of December 2023 and was able to declare a dividend of 3%. The objective of this presentation is to summarize the financial statements, highlight the relevant PERLS ratio and other legislative changes that might impact the credit union's financials, and share with you the dividend declared. I will now hand you over to the finance manager to give a more detailed analysis of the credit union's financial performance.
Good day, Board of Directors, elected committees, specially invited guests, staff, and members. The credit union achieved a surplus of 10.3 million in 2023, a 1.1 million or 9.64% decrease in total income when compared with a surplus of 11.4 million in 2022. Operating realized revenue was 21.6 million, a 1.6 million or 8.1% increase compared with 2022. Operating expenditure of 11.3 million, a 2.7 million or 31.9% increase in operating expenditure as compared with 2022. Total comprehensive income for 2023 was 10.1 million. This was a reduction of 0.16 million as a result of the negative impact of the global market or the local investment market. The total income of the credit union is comprised of three major components: loan interest income, investment income, and other income. The credit union's effort to diversify the loan portfolio, offer loan sales, and additionally reduce loan interest rate resulted in a loan interest income in 2023 of 16.8 million, a marginal increase of $324,222 or 1.97% over 2022, 16.4 million. Investment income received in 2023 was 4.3 million, an increase of 39.97% or 1.2 million over 2022, which was 3 million. The increase was a result of an outstanding payment from an investment in Giant Screen. Other income made up of rental income and miscellaneous income totaled $582,981 for 2023. This represented an increase of 15.1% over 2022, $506,874. due to an increase in administrative fees earned from CUDA as a result of additional insurance booked due to the increase in loans. Total expenditure for 2023 was $11.3 million, an increase of 31.9% over 2022's $8.6 million. The major expense items for 2023 as compared with 2022 were as follows. Expected credit write-back on investments in 2022. There was a write-back of the provision on investment resulting in a credit to the account of $1.2 million. This write-back caused the expenses to be lower in 2022 than in 2023. There was an increase in professional fees by $312,448 between 2022 and 2023. This was mainly due to the vulnerability testing carried out in the first quarter of the year to the value of $133,000. Additionally, brokerage fees to the value of $159,000 contributed to the higher figure. Salaries and benefits in 2022 included a write-back due to the retirement of a long-standing staff member. This caused the variance in 2023. Special events variance was $485,248. This category included training for directors, credit union month events, and social and cultural activities. Training for directors had a variance of $154,000, since directors had limited training during the pandemic. Credit Union Week was expanded to include members being able to sell their products and services, as well as receiving gifts, food, and prizes. This week also included an art competition. This led to a variance of $65,000 to engage the membership. Social and cultural activities were also expanded during 2023 post-pandemic, and members were engaged with ball tours, carnival, and cricket. These activities were not carried out in 2022, and there was a variance of $256,000 as a result of the additional member engagement activities. The Statement of Financial Position measures the assets and liabilities of the credit union. As at the end of 2023, there was an increase in investments of $4.1 million, or 3.47% when compared with 2022 and 2023. Moving from $120.8 million in 2022 to $124.9 million in 2023. This was as a result of a $3 million investment in a government bond and a $2 million investment backed by a government repurchase agreement. Loan to members after allowances for expected credit losses increased by $20 million, or 15.27% between 2022 and 2023. Total assets increased by 4.28% between 2022 and 2023. Member shares increased by 3.19%, or 7.4 million. Members' equity showed an overall increase of 2.27% from $89.7 million in 2022 to $91.7 million in 2023, an increase of $2 million, or 2.27%. I will now hand you over to the General Manager to review the impact of the financials on the PERLS ratio and other legislative changes. Thank you.
PERLS measure the key areas of the credit union's operations. The ratios below show the credit union is in a sound position. Institutional capital to total assets represent how effective the financial structure of the credit union is. The benchmark for this ratio is 10%. The credit union achieved a ratio of 21.81% in 2023 and 22.15% in 2022. Net loans to total assets is, however, below the benchmark of 70 to 80%, representing 38.86% in 2022 and 51.56% in 2023. The credit union continues to focus on this ratio as part of their resilience planning. The higher rate in 2023 is a direct result of lowering the interest on loans over the reporting period. Operating expenses to total assets, which represent how efficiently the assets are being utilized in direct relation to expenses, is 2.5% for 2022 and 3.2% for 2023. The benchmark for this ratio is less than 10%. The credit union's delinquency to total loan portfolio was 58.58% for 2023, a decrease of 1.87% from 2022. This rate continues to be addressed in 2024. Proposed legislative changes. In January 2019, a subcommittee of Cabinet was appointed to investigate and determine the future role of the credit union sector in national development. A recommendation of this Cabinet subcommittee was that legislative changes should be made for a mandatory credit union deposit insurance scheme to be established in which all credit unions would be members. It was also recommended that this scheme should be managed by the Deposit Insurance Corporation. It should be noted that this legislation has not yet passed. However, the Cabinet-appointed committee has continued to engage both the credit union movement and the government with respect to these legislative changes. If the legislation is passed, each eligible credit union will have to contribute an initial funding of 0.40% of its total eligible deposits and withdrawable shares, as well as an annual premium of 0.20% of its total eligible deposits and withdrawable shares. If the credit union is called upon to pay these amounts today, the payment would amount to an estimated $1.5 million based on 2023 deposits and shares. UWICU, in order to be prudent, has included an annual accrual of $532,195 in the 2024 budget to cover these costs when they are called upon to pay. In conclusion, the directors met and declared a dividend rate of 3% as at the 31st of December 2023, with a value of $6.98 million. In addition, they declared an interest rebate of 5% and 6% on ordinary and demand loans, an achievement considering the economic environment that the credit union is operating in. To summarize, the main items of this presentation: net surplus $10.3 million, total income $21.6 million, operating expenses $11.3 million, total asset growth between 2022 and 2023 was 4.28%, members' equity 2.2% increase, reserves 4.54% increase, delinquency a movement downward to 5.58%, dividends declared 3%. On behalf of the Board of Directors, management, and staff, I would like to thank you for your continued support in helping us enhance the quality of life of its members while maintaining long-term financial security and making U.W.I. Credit Union your first choice. Thank you.